things that I've learned about strength in my time on my spiritual path, and even physical strength. Physical strength can only be achieved at higher levels through a spiritual combination, through a spiritual understanding of strength and how to apply it. But that's not exactly a secret. There are a few things that I've learned through divine beings like Thor, the Nordic god, and Ugufera in the path of Voda with the Loa. Now, beings that other people usually think about as brutes of strength and small minds and very little intellect, but all spiritual beings have a certain level of intellect, much higher than human beings. But we associate certain things with strength, like that lack of intellect, that lack of understanding. But true strength is found when you start to realize there is something behind strength, something supporting it, supporting how it develops, supporting what it is to each individual person. First of all, one of the things that I've learned from Thor is that it's very strange that he's associated with Thurasas, the rune of gateway. And you're saying, okay, maybe he guards the gateway to the gods. And no, I don't think Thor guards the gateway to the gods. Of course, Heimdall does. The rainbow bridge to Asgard anyway. And you can say, okay, he guards the gateway to a spiritual realm in this realm. And I don't think that's true either. I think that Thor guards the gateway of weakness and chaos within ourselves. There is always that passage that once we cross it into chaotic strength, into chaotic action, that's the gateway that we pass through without Thor's protection. If we have Thor's protection, we don't pass into false strength, into strength that is based on carnality. Thor guards that gateway with true divine strength, strength that has to do with proper use of strength, but also proper understanding of it. How do we understand strength? Strength is not meant to like lift things as far as gods are concerned, or even in this world, not to lift things, not to run a certain distance. It's about having the will to push yourself to a certain degree for a purpose. Now, the purpose is the key. That's what Thor guards against, is the chaotic purpose. Thor smashes giants with his hammer Mjolnir in mythology, and that represents the chaos within us and shows us that isn't strength. Chaotic strength, out for yourself, out for destruction, out for the pure blood frenzy of a fight. That's not what Thor is. He guards against that. That's the way of the Jotun, of the worst of the Jotun, at their worst anyway, at least. And Thor teaches us that the kind of strength he has is not for himself, but for the world. He guards that gateway within us, and he also guards people who get close to him against those kind of attacks from the gateway within ourselves, through which chaos can come in, can enter into our lives. And there's a level of peace with Thor because he guards against that chaos within. And he's very similar to Freyr in that one regard, is that Freyr is a being of peace and cycles and fertility. Thor guards that gateway up to the point where all the gateways kind of blow up, and he won't guard them all forever, but he will destroy the Midgard serpent, Jormungand, which is basically time. All this chaos building up, all this incorrect action that is committed in the world, in this universe, building up to Ragnarok, and eventually Thor will take on that being of time, of decay, of chaos influencing this world. He'll take that serpent on at Ragnarok, and he'll destroy it, but he'll also be destroyed. So in the end, Thor makes that ultimate sacrifice of fighting the karma that builds up over time within humankind, within the sentient beings in this universe, Eventually all that karma, bad deeds, and improper strength will build up and try and force itself upon the gods through Jormungand, and Thor fights it and does slay it, but he isn't himself slain. So we will eventually have a new guardian, and only a certain amount of souls will begin the next cycle after Ragnarok, after a long time of stationary thought, universal thought, where everything kind of retracts, and then once we have a new cycle, a whole new universe, we'll have another Big Bang in essence, and we'll have a new Thor that takes up that position. He won't be called Thor, but that's the role that Thor plays all the way up until the end. He doesn't leave his post, guarding against the chaotic Jotun. He stays at his post, and he stays in our hearts at that same post, so that chaos does not enter our hearts, so that greed doesn't enter our hearts, so that selfish bloodlust in many facets, not just in battle, but in politics, in economics. I mean, this understanding can go further than just battle. It's not just about battle, and the majority of conflicts that we fight, in which chaotic forces can enter into us, starts in the heart, and thus is in matters pertaining to the heart, which is everything. This is something that I've learned about spiritual strength, and it's very true for other beings in different religions and spiritual traditions and magic itself. Ugufera is a similar being, though not quite the same, and also he's more of a spirit white force. So Wight, the Nordic word for spirit, basically, but very big spirit, I guess you could say. Without going into other gods besides Thor right now, I have learned many things from Thor, and I've looked at strength completely differently. And primordial strength, the rune that I'm very close to, Uros, which is kind of a lowercase n, it's kind of where we get the lowercase n, that is primordial strength, and it must be tempered by proper usage of Thurisas, the gateway rune, which kind of looks like a line and then a triangle on the line, and it can be reversed, so can Uros. And I'm trying to work on the final rune in my own understanding, but right now I have Uros. Then my understanding has evolved to know that the next place is Thurisaz, along the path of the runes that I've been walking, and I'm looking for the final rune that will complete this understanding related to Thor and strength itself in this universe. So I still have some ways to go, but I hope that this video has been interesting. These are just my opinions. I don't really know anything, but I try to make the best guesses that I can with what I know and what the resources that I have. So if you have any ideas about Thor or spiritual strength that you'd like to share, this has been a lot about Thor. But if you have any ideas yourself, and maybe in other paths, how this relates or how it doesn't relate, and if you just want to say, I've had a similar journey, that's fine. Just shoot it down there in the comment section below. Feel free to hit that like if this video was interesting at all, and I will surely see you in the future. Stay strong, brothers and sisters. You'll need it in the coming days.